Yes, thank you for the invitation. I'll say some words about fatty acids. The samples which were taken are from whales which laid their bones in two villages, Miðvágur and up there, and in Sandagerði in Tórshavn. And the samples, they were taken near the genitals, where the opening is made regularly when these whales have been killed, and it is done in order to cool the animal as fast as possible. Here is a fatty acid profile of blubber. You can see we have a high concentration of oleic acid, and we have also some of these so-called LCPUFA, long-chain, highly unsaturated fatty acid, but also some of these LCMUFA, monounsaturated fatty acid, 21 omega-9, gontoic acid, gadolinic acid, erucic acid, and cetoleic acid. Focus has been on, a lot of focus has been on these LCPUFA, icosapentaenoic acid and hexaenoic acid, but less focus on these LCMUFA. When treated with the multivariate analysis, you could see that we got two groups, and we have here whales or samples from Miðvágur, and these are from Sandagerði. You can see that some of the whales have moved over to the pod from Sandagerði, and it happens now and then that the whales change or shift from one pod to another, especially the males. There are reports that where one male was chased out by three females. These societies are matriarchal, so the females, they dominate totally. And if you test it, then the difference is significant between these groups. You can see that the group which expired in Sandagerði, they had a higher concentration of these fatty acids, 21 omega-11 and 21 omega-11 also, 22 also. So there are differences between these pods. Oleic acid has many beneficial health effects. It has effect on the hormonal balance, and it has inflammatory characteristics, and it can improve also these beta cell function, which are part of the insulin production. So they can mitigate, for example, diabetes. Oleic acid is also part of olive oil, which is part of the Mediterranean cuisine. I mentioned these LCMUFA, these fatty acid with 20 carbon and one double bond, and 22 carbons and one double bond. They have been analyzed extensively the last decades, and they found that these fatty acids, they downregulate the pro-inflammatory genes in liver and adipose tissue. And the lipogenic genetic genes are also downregulated. But the genes which have beta oxidation, they're upregulated. And in the vessels, blood vessels, you can see that the inflammation is downregulated, all the genes which have inflammation to do, and the lipid accumulation are also downregulated, and 3 omega-6 PUFA upregulated, and the cholesterol efflux is upregulated. So altogether, these fatty acids have a cardiovascular protection. Then we look at selenium. Selenium is analyzed in whale meat, and the result was 185 micrograms per 100 gram, and that is much more than in fish, for example, cod, where we have 28 microgram per 100 gram, so 7 times higher. Selenium is good for so many things. It's anti-cancerogenic, anti-aging also. It boosts immunity and improves brain function, and it is, even fertility is improved, and it functions as antiviral as well. Yeah. So selenium has also the ability to clean body for mercury. Analysis show that blubber contains other amino acids. That it contains amino acids, amines, vitamins, and the B1 and 2, and the skin can also contain C. That's not analyzed, and as well blood and meat as well. The vitamins are analyzed later, and the result was that it contained only 1 microgram per 100 gram of vitamin D3. It's suspiciously low, especially when you compare to other toothed whales. These pilot whales in the Faroes, they have almost 10 times lower concentration than narwhale, for example, and beluga whale. And here are 2 references from beluga whale blubber analysis. One showed 13 microgram per 100 gram, and the other 42. So these are almost 40 times higher concentration than pilot whales. Very strange. Maybe you should analyze it once more. These analyses are conducted abroad. Then we have carnitine. Whale meat contains carnitine as well, L-carnitine, and we thought it had a higher concentration than these analyses show. Carnitine is only 178 microgram per gram or milligram per kilo, but that is much higher than in fish, but lower than in for example, meat from sheep meat. Sheep meat is very high in L-carnitine. These measurements come from the environmental agency here in the Faroes. Hjortis and Björk Mikkelsen have taken care of these analysis. But there are other also, not only carnitine, there are creatine, which is good for muscles and also improves brain performance. Then there's carnosine, which prevents complication from diabetes, nerve damage, kidney problems. And anserine improves this cerebral blood flow and memory in aging people, and taurine as well. But taurine is also good for heart and lowering the blood pressure. These have never been measured in the Faroese whale meat, but it should be carried out, definitely.
Can you rub it?
Sorry?
Can you rub it? The time is going out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Coenzyme. can also be is good, but it's not been analyzed. And then we very briefly we can also use the mussels, make it to bioactive peptides. And the bioactive peptide has many good effects on the human body, and they can be used as part of functional food and nutraceuticals. So time's run out, and here are some suggested analyses which should be carried out here in Faroes. The vitamins, selenium, and also these carnosine, creatine, coenzyme, and analysis of these bioactive peptides, and we could also carry out research in food and health of children, adolescents, adults, monitor harmful contaminants, and develop cleaning procedures for contaminated foods, for example, pH shift methods. Yes, thank you, Maria, Catherine, and Björk for providing these samples and funding Food and Veterinary Agency.